I don't know if you know this, but when Rekieta first appeared on the scene, I saw him as a family man because he presented himself as a family man. After all, he had a stream. What was it called? Like with the dads, the Chud dads or the Chad dads, or whatever it was called. With the guy who created Earthworm Jim, which I have a wall scroll of that game right there. That's an awesome game. It's legendary. One of a kind. Very, very, very cool. Very cool game. Nothing else really is like that in its way. Anyway, Nick Rekieta came across as a family man. I think everyone can agree, right? Okay. So after his CPS stuff, after being busted with a lot of blow in his house, after his daughter tested positive, his 9-year-old daughter, right, tested positive for ingesting the powder somehow, like tested positive for nose sugar. You could tell us about 10 years in family. Tell us about Johnny Depp. Okay. Should be good. Let's do it.
He says that I only yell at women is insane. I've yelled at way more men on this channel than I've yelled at women anywhere. Remember that weirdo who was like associated with the Keffels thing?
Keffels.
What was that guy's name?
Yes, bring up Keffels. Yeah, I remember Keffels. Everyone hated Keffels. Let's talk about Keffels, guys. Yeah, Keffels is horrible. Yeah, I would say Keffels is worse. Is Keffels worse than Rekieta? I mean, Keffels pushed HRT. It was bootlegged HRT made in a bathtub. Pushed that onto kids. As Rekieta brought moon nose sugar. I was about to say moon sugar, which is like that's actually an Elder Scrolls reference. Whoa. Sakuma. Okay, I'm revealing myself to be a nerd. But Rekieta brought that stuff into the house. And somehow his daughter tested positive. You know? As bad as Keffels is, Rekieta, I think, did more damage. The fact that he inflicted that damage onto his own family.
That's a big guy. I yelled at him. I yelled at Shane, the shoe guy. I yelled at some other guy with when Ethan Van Sciver was on. Yelled at Eric July. Eventually, I lose.
Yeah. You yelled at Eric July for nothing. You're mad that a black man was successful. Like, okay. All right, man. I don't know what to tell you. Man. Black guys can have successful comic books. And don't be mad if they're successful. I don't know what to tell you.
My temper when people are stupid. I don't know what to do. Duncan. Yeah. Duncan McLeod. Did I hear what Citizen M said about me on Pod Awful? No, not really. I heard some like little bits of it, but I was in the shower, so I don't know. What credentials? This will be fun. Not mine. God, stop criticizing me. No, I am immune to all this. You're not supposed to go after me, Grok. What a dick.
What? So even he's being felted by Grok. Grok yeah, I mean, what credentials? If I ask Grok what credentials does Nick Rekieta have, I get similar results. Oh, no, we're gonna shift this real fast because if I show you my Twitter timeline, it's nothing but tits and ass. I have an addiction, and it's not going away. I just pretty much embraced it anymore. All right, let me put up Grok. What credentials does Nick Rekieta have. All right, doing this live in the moment. Let's see if it's favorable for him. Nicholas Robert Rekieta is a licensed attorney in Minnesota, having graduated from William Mitchell College of Law. Keep in mind, I'm reading this with one eye. Pink eye is still there. He has been practicing law since 2015 and is owner of Rekieta Law, a law firm based in Spicer, Minnesota. Beyond his legal credentials, Rekieta is known for legal channel Rekieta Law, where he discusses legal topics. So this seems favorable. His professional background involves... okay. Though his role was more of a commentator and fundraiser rather than a direct representative. Okay, let me ask him. Let me ask Grok. Is Rekieta... No. Let me ask Grok. Would you hire Nick Rekieta? Based on all his recent drama, or is that a? You know what? Let me just ask. Would you hire Nick Rekieta? I'm not gonna poison the well, so to speak. What I get? Whoa, we get an essay. Deciding whether to hire Nicholas Rekieta as an attorney involves weighing the credentials against some significant red flags. He's a licensed attorney in Minnesota since 2015 with a degree at William Mitchell College of Law. Runs Rekieta Law. He practices areas including traffic, immigration. He does. Social security. I doubt that. Family law. He has to have a family first. That isn't in shambles. He's built a reputation for clear communication. Has he? Client-focused service. Really? According to some reviews, his YouTube channel, Rekieta Law, shows he's knowledgeable about law analysis covering high-profile cases like Johnny Depp and Kyle Rittenhouse trials, which suggests he can handle some complex legal discussions. Look at that. However, we got an however. There are some serious concerns. Rekieta was convicted of third-degree drug possession in January 2025. In May 2024, a raid on his family home found no sugar, ketamine, and other paraphernalia and children present. His kids, leading to child endangerment and firearm charges later dropped. He's currently on probation, sentenced to 28 days in jail, which credit for his time served. It must complete 80 hours of community service. He's also temporarily authorized to practice law due to unmet continuing legal education requirements. Though he's expressed intent to resolve this, his only behavior draws a criticism, particularly for inflammatory rhetoric during his Big Mignata case, where he raised over $2,500,000. Whoa! But face accusations of fueling online harassment. Some peers on platforms like #Law Twitter have questioned his legal acumen and ethics, while one attorney calling his conduct potentially prejudicial. Look at that. Let's see. Though not a clear violation of Minnesota rules or professional conduct, would I hire him? Would I hire him? Probably not. So Grok would not hire Nick Rekieta. Okay. That's what we got there. All right, now we go back. I did my reading for the day.
I understand you're asking about the credentials of Nick Rekieta and Kurt Mueller. No, just Kurt, not me. I don't want to do that at all. As these two are the focus of our discussion about the 4-panel ad, let's dive into their qualifications as attorneys. Oh, shit. To provide clarity on their backgrounds, especially since the ad's third panel implies that uncivil doesn't know the law. I'll critically examine the available information to ensure accuracy. I'm going to get wrecked again. I know it.
Yeah. But Grok wrecked you when I just asked, would you hire Nick Rekieta?
Nick Rekieta is a licensed attorney based in Spicer, Minnesota. He operates Rekieta Law Firm and is known for his YouTube channel where he provides legal commentary. According to a lawyer directory, he has 10 years of experience in areas like, well, I guess I do. Holy shit. This is my 10-year anniversary. Go me.
So Nick Rekieta is even admitting it's not even true. It's not even true.
I didn't even notice. I've been a lawyer for 10 years. You guys understand like how crazy that is? Like I graduated in January and then I would have passed the bar. I opened my law firm in September. Huh, that's neat. Cool. Like traffic immigration. I've never taken
Here we have it. Nick Rekieta supports immigrants.
an immigration case. I referred them out.
No. Grok says otherwise. Grok's not a liar. Nick Rekieta, you. I can't even defend Grok on this. I can't even do that. I could not imagine Nick Rekieta being a competent lawyer enough to defend illegal immigrants. Okay, I cannot.
Social Security and divorce family law. This indicates he passed the Minnesota bar exam, has been practicing since around.
No, he hasn't died yet. There's probably a Deadpool on him.
2015. However, his current status as a practicing attorney is complicated. State database records, as noted in recent articles from Fox 9, explicitly state that he is not authorized to practice law in Minnesota as of April 2025. Rekieta himself mentioned in a live stream, this is due to him being behind on his continuing legal education requirements, which are mandatory for maintaining an active law license. He expressed intent to...
Right? He was so busy partying and swinging and doing other things that he didn't care about his law license. Why would he? He was making all sorts of money, like truckloads of money. And he was doing blow, and he was having like parties at his house, okay? His whole life was a party. Except that, I think he's going to say that because this clip is titled also Johnny Depp. If he compares himself to Johnny Depp, that'll be very rich, okay?
Fulfill these requirements, but also suggested potential disbarment for other reasons, likely tied to his recent legal troubles. I love how Grok states it's so so passe, right? In January, Rekieta pleaded guilty. It was January. That's right. Pleaded guilty to third-degree drug possession, cocaine. And in April, he was sentenced to 28 days in jail with credit for 2 days served, 5 years of probation, 80 hours of community service. Left out the nuance. I didn't have to go to jail, you dummy. A felony drug conviction, even with a stay of adjudication, meaning it could be dismissed if probation is completed. It's not a conviction. Often triggers disciplinary...
Don't argue with Grok. Grok is right.
Disciplinary action by state bar associations, such as suspension or disbarment. The Minnesota Office of Lawyers' Professional Responsibility may still take action, though no final disbarment is confirmed. As of my last update in April 2025. Well, they just confirmed receipt of my letter to them, so they'll be looking it over the next couple days. Don't worry, Grok. We'll have an update on this issue very soon. Despite this,
when is he going to have time to meet his continued education? He's going to have to take courses, take a break from streaming and doing whippets to take courses to meet his requirements.
His legal knowledge is evident from his YouTube success. Damn right. We're getting a large following, over 420,000 subscribers. Not quite over it anymore. By covering high-profile cases
not anymore. Yeah, a lot of people left. A lot of people left because they felt betrayed. We followed Nick Rekieta because we thought Nick Rekieta was one thing, but he turned out to be a complete other thing. We didn't realize how bad he was. We didn't realize he was an unhinged party animal. An unhinged, just drug fiend, dude. That's what he is. But he was supposed to be a family man.
Kyle Rittenhouse and Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Reviews on lawyer directories praise his ability to explain complex legal concepts clearly, his negotiation and litigation skills. Ooh. And his courtroom success. Well, that's nice. Suggesting he was a competent attorney before his recent issues.
Look, Nick Rekieta even laughs at that. Nick Rekieta even knows that's not even real.
It's stupid now. However, his involvement in controversial cases like raising over $260,000 for Vic Mignogna's defamation lawsuit in 2019, while allegedly fueling an online hate factory, raises ethical questions about his professional conduct, even before his drug-related charges. I'm just mad that the workers didn't churn out enough hate. Very, very low performing factory of hate.
Kurt is watching rackets and playing with his micro penis.
he wasn't watching. Was Kurt watching me? That'd be funny.
Those guys are always watching Rekieta. Like the other attorneys are watching him for sure. People are still watching to see what else could come out from this husk of a man.
I wonder if he liked it. I said I wasn't going to ask Grok if Kurt was a fat retard. He did that on its own. That was not my intention.
Damn, Nick, why is everyone so interested in your personal life, drama seekers all?
I don't know. Like,
because your personal life is potent and it's out there. It's wild. It's kind of interesting, right? You kind of build a channel covering other people's drama from a legal standpoint, right? And then when it becomes when it then involves your family, it's like, oh no, it's too much, right? It's almost like it's karma.
Johnny Depp sat on the stand and talked about doing MDMA and other drugs, and I believe with his minor daughter around, like right next to him.
And that's not a good thing, Nick. It's not a good thing for Johnny Depp to be doing those drugs around his daughter. That's not a justification for you to join him. No one thinks of Johnny Depp as like an ideal father, okay? Johnny Depp is a famous actor, okay? Johnny Depp is a celebrity. Is he going to have wild celebrity parties? For sure, man. But is he going to be a good father? No. Only reason why he's not a lolcow is because he has a career around him, a lot of success that's supporting him and others around him. But let's face it, if he didn't have that, if he was just like consuming mass amount of drugs around his family and stuff, it would be a complete crap show. It would be, it just would not be a good thing. You're not Johnny Depp. But even if you were, it wouldn't make it a good thing.
If I remember right, maybe I'm crazy. I remember Johnny Depp testifying about MDMA. I'm pretty sure I remember him testifying about having it in the car with him, with her.
And those aren't the reasons why people like Johnny Depp, though. Like I think Nick Rekieta has it confused of why people like Johnny Depp. Okay, they don't like him because of those things. That's the baggage. That's like, oh no, that's messed up. And I think, if I remember, I think if you were to ask him, does he regret that? He probably does. But he's a drug addict as well. He has his vices. Anyway.
Bjorn Jack Sparrow, I know I'm trying to be. I know it doesn't make it okay, but nobody gives a shit 99% of the time, especially when the kids are okay. And I don't know how.
Then why did you lie about it? Just say it. Just admit the truth. You're doing blow around the kids. Because how else did your daughter test positive for blow? How else? It had to get into her system somehow. Okay?
How else to tell you guys? My kids are just fine. Because there wasn't actually some sort of exposure. My daughter did not.
The drug test said otherwise, and I believe it was a hair test, right? And it was a crazy amount. Like, stop lying. Just stop the lies.
Do cocaine. To think that she sat around doing cocaine is literally f***ing crazy.
Well, the stuff you were doing was literally crazy. So, yeah, it adds up.
Like, that's nuts.
Like, promoting a baldo and opening your marriage to, like, this weird swinger lifestyle, all the stuff you were doing. Swapping jizz with Aaron Imholte, a steel toe guy, whatever his name is. That's all crazy. That's crazy stuff. It's insane.
And to think that the county would like not pick up on that and would have no problem returning our children to us. They were back in our care.
I'm pretty sure CPS did have a problem, but they lost the fight, which that happens. That happens all the time. You know, yeah, CPS will remove kids from the home for stuff like that, but usually those removals are short-lived.
Here in 2 months. I mean, our case was closed in 6. They were back in our care in 2. This is not a case where the county had any thought that our children were ingesting drugs in any way. So if that's your hang up,
man, honestly, that CPS worker should have pushed that question even more. Like, why did this kid? And I think they were trying to, but they were like, "Oh, you're gonna need consent from us to do further tests on her." They should have pushed that more, man. It's one of those things like, I was a CPS investigator for a brief moment for 8 years of my life. So like you get a chance to interview the kids, and that's like the interview where you're getting pretty much most of your information. But there's a lot of things you probably don't know about until afterwards. And if you had known those things, the interview would have gone a lot differently. And the questions would have been different. You would have spent more time on certain things. Because to re-interview them, it poses questions. That itself poses issues. Like, oh, why are you re-interviewing them? And at that point, it could be like, oh, the kid was coached or was coerced and stuff. It could look wrong.
good news. You can even think that it happened. Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter what path you choose. Just know my kids are really healthy, and that's great. That's what everybody should be happy about.
You know what, Nick? I hope they are really healthy. I hope they are, but I don't believe you. And I hope they're being taken care of. I hope their needs are met and all this stuff. I hope the wife isn't just watching Star Trek all day and letting the kids just do whatever. Okay, I hope you guys are involved in their life. Hope you're doing the laundry at least, so they're not wearing the same dirty clothes over and over and over again and eating nothing but SpaghettiOs.
That my decisions didn't turn out worse for them is good. I don't know why everybody wants it to be worse than it was. See, I'm still making friends. It was my sister-in-law, you dumb bitch. What do you want? She lied about my child who is hungry for the moment. Every single Thursday, we went to the chiropractor, and right after there would go and eat. We'd take them to a local place. They would.
Man, remember hearing about those stories? Man, your kids were saying they were hungry, hungry, and we heard the stories about what they were fed and how you guys were really preoccupied. It was Aaron Imholte of Stilto, the guy who would eat your jizz for some reason, and then have make love with your wife for some reason, right? That was the guy that had to feed your kids while you guys are too busy doing blow. That's wild, dude. It is wild, man.
Would buy the same food every single Thursday.
Man, just don't bring those hard drugs into your house if you have kids, man. Look, and I'll say it this way. Look, I'm not gonna pretend to be like Mr. Morality over here. If you're a grown adult and you have kids and you want to party, go to a hotel room. Leave the kids at home with grandma or someone else to watch them. Go to a hotel. Go somewhere else. Okay? Do that. Get it out of your system. Be good. You know, like sober up. And come back home. Okay? If you want to have a way vacation like that, you want to have a party like that, whatever. You know, you're grown adults. You want to make your choices. Probably not a good idea to get into the hard stuff, you know. And a little Mary Jane is not going to harm you. You know, go to a Willie Nelson concert and everyone's smoking, you know. I had to work one of those cases. That was a bullshit case. The family tested positive for weed. But they were at a Willie Nelson concert. They even showed me the tickets. And I was like, well, if you're at a Willie Nelson concert, it makes sense. Because everyone there is going to be smoking weed. It's Willie freaking Nelson. Who's not smoking weed? Even if you're not, the people around you are. You know? And the kid was at home with grandma. I verified that stuff. I mean, everyone's story added up. So the solution to that, well, because it was weed and because it is Texas, it was like, okay, look. And also because the age of the child, it was like, look, we got to be serious about this. I know you guys had fun and all that stuff, but we're going to work what's going to happen is we're going to do what we call family base. Then you're going to work some services. You'll be drug tested periodically. You just take a parenting class. And as long as you do those things, you work with your family-based worker, you'll be fine. You just have to do those things, okay? I'll also tell them, too, if you want to fight it, it's totally your right to fight it. But if you fight it, I don't know where it's going to go, all right? You know, and maybe I was revealing a little too much, too. I was like, you know, I was pretty much showing them the cards I had in my hand. Because I didn't want to screw them over, as long as, you know, assuming that their story was right. Anyway.
So to say they were starving and not eating is literally because one child was hungry, waiting for their food at 3:40 p.m. because they'd had lunch before 11 a.m. and then they did a bunch of school stuff. So yeah, unfortunately,
sounds like cope to me.
It kind of put a damper on the whole I want to go to the chiropractor thing. I don't want to go to that chiropractor anymore.
All right. That was Rekieta.
Chair would now like to recognize Mr. Burchett.